Hey everyone, it's Rob. Welcome one and all. Hope you're having a great day. Let's go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you'd please type the number one in the chat box, let me know that you can. I would greatly appreciate it. Hey Andres, afternoon, Kevin, Brenda, afternoon. Hey Helen, good morning. Jim, good afternoon. Amen to that, brother. No questions asked. Thanks, Patty. Yep, got it, Andrew. Hey Lan, how you doing? Volume always first, and then we worry about the camera. Let's see. All right, it looks like it's there. Let me open it up. Ta-da! Um, Shut the computer down over the weekend. Just started it back up today, and for whatever reason, my light on my overhead does not work now. It says it can't find it, so we're gonna have to work this without a light. But I think we'll be okay. All right, so as we get started, keep in mind that everything we look at is for education. Nothing's meant to be advice or recommendations. If you find something you like, anything, make sure it fits your own personal risk profile and risk tolerance. That wasn't bothering anybody, was it? No. So today's agenda, we're going to go through our follow us page. We'll look at today's trades, any economic reports coming up. We'll do a review of the market, upcoming trainings, weekly training topic, and your stocks in review. Um, Yeah, I didn't put on my camera makeup though, that's for sure, Jim. Put on a decent shirt, but that's it, you know? Kevin O'Leary, I'm in boxers with white and red polka dots. If you guys have ever seen him do that, he's on CNBC or CNN, and the camera's right at him, and he's got his dress shirt, his jacket on, and whatnot, and he's got a side camera on him facing down, and he's literally in boxer shorts. I'm like, I guess if you're worth a couple of $1 billion, you do whatever you want. Me, the FCC would be after me or something for it. Here's our follow us page. I do believe at this point we now have on tradinglikeaboss.com. I think we've got our newsletter up there finally. Let's see. Um, the trading post, there it is. So you can find it somewhere. We had it nowhere. You had to literally be invited to say, "Would you like us to send you this information?" Outside of coming here and we put it in every Monday. So thanks for that again, Andrew. But it is up there. You can check it out. Let's put that back down. All right. And then today's trades. Interesting day. So what trades did y'all do today? Drop them in. I'd love to see what you did. Let's see, Jeff. I am not surprised. Let's see. NQ first trade was at 9:30 and 48 seconds. Five contracts out in 3 seconds. $135. I love it. I love it. Same from Trip. One scalp on Nvidia for 71.8% in 8 minutes. With calls no less. Good for you, Trip. Patty said, "Woo! Implied volatility was brutal." Amen, sister. You are not kidding. Paper trading Adobe and still riding with it. Okay. Steele said nothing yet. It's look with uh, us getting involved in however temporary or not temporary or whatever it is, but war. The pop-up Perplexity now decides to just send me top news stories, right? They show up in my feed on my phone, and most of them I just swipe away. But I did see something this morning that said market crashing, gold, flight to safety hits all-time highs, right? And again, not surprised, right? That's what people do in times of war. They pull their money out of the market because of the fear that we're going to come crashing down. And we already, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, we already didn't have a strong market. I mean, nothing at all. I mean, look here, if we look, this is from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week. One trade only is all we got off in pop. One. And we were down $101 on one contract. One. Okay. Now we've had other trades. If you look at, I guess it would be in here, right? Let's see. Yeah. So this is Monday and Tuesday. I just did a quick total on it. We're up 2 grand. And you may look at it and go, yeah, but Rob, that's you're still at only like 2 grand for the week. And you're right, that is a small week for us, right? Considering we're up $34,000 for the first 2 months of the year, $17,000 a month. That's not too shabby. And of that $34,000, 2,000 of it was the last week. 1,900 was the last week, right? So it's the market itself has not given us a great tradability. And some of the best advice I could ever give to someone as a trader is patience grasshopper, right? I used to love the TV show Kung Fu as a kid, right? Or if any of you have ever been into any martial arts or have heard things like that, Jackie Chan, right? Patience grasshopper, right? It's learning to wait. It's being patient, watching grass grow or paint dry and not freaking out over it and stressing out and saying, I got to place a trade anyway. Because the market is like that at times. And right now, this is not the time of let's attack. Let's just, throw caution into the wind and just start buying stuff or selling stuff or, trading over and over excessively. It's finding the right trades at the right time and only then taking those positions. We should not be chasing after positions right now. It is definitely the wrong time in the market. And you'll see that when we get to our look at the S&P, you'll get to see that. Let's see. Trip said, and those calls were today's expiration on Nvidia. Yep. There you go, Trip. Brenda said, I'm getting better at the waiting game. And Brenda, that is the sign of the maturity in trading. It is. That is the sign that you are maturing. If you guys read the newsletter that we put out over the weekend, I do an update. I give my team some details behind what my last week looked like, answer a couple of questions for them, and they write an analysis based on that, right? For me. And I look it over, I put some final touches on it, and then we publish it in the newsletter. And a lot of what I talk about is things that are going on in my life that would cause me to not be able to trade, right? I mean, we're back again with my mother-in-law back in the hospital again. So that has caused all kinds of strife. And not just on my wife from the standpoint of it's her mom, she's back in the hospital. We know she's nearing end of life. I mean, it's just, her quality of life is not good, right? At all. We know she's nearing end of life. So is that stressful on my wife? Absolutely. Well, what else makes it worse? Well, now we wind up fighting over the stupidest things because everything sets her off, right? And I can't be angry with her, right? Which just stresses me out because I can't vent my frustrations to her. And I can't and won't, I should say, I won't be angry with her because it's not her talking. It's the pain that she's going through. But there are things like that there are days that I'll get up and go, whoa, yep, time out. Today is not a day for me, right? Or other things that have to be done. If my oldest daughter calls and says, hey, Dad, I'm off today because she's a nurse. She works 3 to 4 days a week, depending on the week, all weekdays. But says, hey, can you come over on Thursday and help me with this? Yes. If I don't have an appointment already scheduled, a doctor or something like that that's scheduled, yes, I will be there, which might mean I'm not going to trade that day. And that's why I chose this as a profession, trading, because I don't have to always be there. I don't have to be on every single day. I don't have to go see people that I hate working with. I don't. The nice thing is if I don't like the people I work with, I'll fire them. I'll fire them. I love everybody that we work with. Everybody's been here 4, 5, 6 years more. Right? I love everybody that works here at Wealth Builders, right? But the market, especially right now, is not giving us good times. And when I say that, have we had some nice moves? Yeah, we've had some really nice moves. Can you catch some really good intraday trades? Without a doubt. And again, these are all one contract trades, right? So none of these are normally thousands of dollars for one contract. We get some, but not normally, right? So if you look, let's see. Here's the beginning of February, right? These are our February trades, right? All of this is for the month of February. So how did we do for February as a month? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Right there, right? 43. $11,126.70, right? That's on one contract. Now, I realize for some of you, you might look at that and go, Rob, I can't live on 11 grand a month. And I'm okay with that if you can't. I couldn't live on it either. I get it. Okay. Now, when I said couldn't live on it, would I make adjustments? Absolutely. Right. I may be accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Trust me. I guarantee you, Mark Cuban, his, bill for dinner alone for the month is more than $11,000. Forget about what his house cost is. I could. I get it. I get it, Steele. I do. I do. Right? But everybody's in a different place. So what does that mean? Well, if we're only doing one contract here, do another one. That makes it 22 grand. If you can't live on 22 grand a month, Houston, we have a problem. Okay? You can live on it. You may not like to, but you can live on it. You may have to downsize the house, but and the likes, right? But we've had really good trades this month. And we've had our fair share that have gone against us. We've got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven trades went against us. One was a break even. The rest were winners. Were trades that went in our direction. Okay. But you've got to look at the overall market when we look at trades from today. Not many of you have chimed in. Not a lot of trades going on today. And a bunch of you said none today, none yet, right? I'm with you. I get it. Or someone like Patty, who's been doing this for a long time, saying volatilities are crushing it, right? So I'm just paper trading it, right, on Adobe and still in the trade, right? Because that big crush of volatility of not crush, but increase in volatility right out of the gate today, and then the crush or the flattening of it as the market stayed open a little bit, even though we're popping, right? Fear is not there that it was over the weekend with futures yesterday, and the way the markets are handling it today are definitely better, right? So is it right? Is it wrong? We're not going to pick a side for right or wrong here. We're not doing that. Okay. You'll make your own decisions on that. And here's the question you really need to answer, not whether it's right or wrong. You need to answer this one question, and you need to answer it honestly. Put the answer in the chat. Would you rather be right? Meaning, is it right or wrong? Would you rather be right, or would you rather be rich? Would you rather be right, or would you rather be rich? I don't need to be right. I will be wrong all damn day long. If it makes me rich, I'm good with it. Man, you're horrible. You're wrong all the time, but I'm rich because of it. So I'm okay. Rich, give me the money. Show me the money. There you go. Look, and again, we're not trying to pick a side of this, all right? There's tragedy for both sides here, for all sides on this, okay? Hopefully something good comes of it, but right now we just have to deal with it. So what does that mean? You trade the market at hand. Even if you look at today's trading topic, things have changed slightly from when I picked this trading topic on Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, is when we picked the topic for this. We got to build our emails out and get everything set for the end of the week. So this topic was already picked, earlier in the week. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember exactly when. We usually try to do it on a Tuesday, and sometimes it winds up Wednesday. Yeah, there you go. I love the bags of money, Steele. I love it. Except there shouldn't be four. There should be five or three. Don't do fours. Why not? Four is not a fib number, right? Let's see. Patty said, I guess with volatility, need to trade spreads like Amelia. And there lies a question you've got to ask yourself. That's not the right way to say this. Yes, Patty. So should we consider spreads? Here's the thing. If someone is a newer trader and they are just starting out or have not yet figured out how to work trading properly to their advantage, then no, they shouldn't consider spreads. They should just stay with what they're doing. But if you are more experienced, do you have other tools in your tool belt? Okay, you should. If you're experienced, you need to. The one horse show or pony show or whatever it's called. I can't remember the exact phraseology now. Right, one pony show. You can't have one horse. If the horse is sick, there's no show. Okay, so if directional trading stops, you got nothing else. As a newer trader, I don't care about that. That's fine because you're not accustomed to what to do yet in other strategies. It's 2 bottles of water, okay? Or 2 bottles, I should say. This one, let's say I filled it with milk. This one is filled with water or vodka, pick your choice. If they were half full each and I poured both of them into another jar, and then I went, oh darn, I'd like to take the milk back out of the water, you can't. That's the rules as a new trader. You're mixing the rules up in your head and you can't separate them properly in your brain. One trick pony. There you go, Steele. Thank you. I figured someone knew it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. 8 bundles of steel for cash for steel. There you go, Steele. Excellent. So you've got to trade the market that's at hand. So Patty, I agree with you. Someone of your caliber, yeah, considering spreads without a doubt. Someone newer, keep honing on what you do, but do it on paper trading. Do non-funded trading. Just get out of the way of the, but there's going to be a pop and I'm going to miss it. Yep, you are. So what? You think it'll be the last thing you ever miss? As a professional trader, you're going to sit there and you're going to say, should I do it? Nah, I'm not going to. And the thing's going to take off on you. You're going to, if I only. I love those words, right? Three words. If I only would have done this, right? There'd be a different outcome, a different result. And yeah, but so don't stress over not having trades every day. For me, if I can get 2 to 3 trades, 4 trades, 5 trades in a week, I'm tickled pink. I don't need 3, 4, 5 trades, a day. I don't need 1 trade every day. There's days that I don't even trade. I don't have the time or the desire to do it. Too busy with other things, right? I've said this a million times. If you go back 3 years ago and forever from my working career, from the start of my working career, back at the age of 13, paper route, crazy nut job me, having a paper route that was almost 400 papers, 400 newspapers, right? Delivered with a shopping cart, right? I had to go make multiple trips back to the house to get all the newspapers to deliver them. We lived in a very condensed neighborhood, so it was only a matter of 7 or 8 blocks, but it's 400 newspapers to fold and throw every day, 7 days a week, okay? But all the way back to there was one and only one thing that ever mattered to me, and that was my business, right? And that's where all of my time got spent, was business. I always carved out some time for other things, such as family and fun and all of that, but not at the expense of business. About 3 years ago, I made that decision that my health comes first, not my business, my health. Excuse me. Nothing matters as much to me as my health does now, and I've seen drastic changes in what's done. I went from where I was 5 years older. My body was 5 years older than my actual age, and now I'm 3 years younger than my actual age. So I've shifted 8 years. I've added over 10 pounds of body muscle at 61 years old. I've added 10 pounds of muscle to my body, right? I made a conscious decision that comes first. Will I trade at the expense of my health? The answer is no, I won't. Okay, so there might be a day that I'm taking off. Maybe it's a late day at the gym, and I just don't have the opportunity to get back in time. I started late, whatever the reason was. I started late, don't have the time to get back. I don't leave the gym early. I stay at the gym, and I'll pass on trading that morning. That's okay, right? You got to make some decisions as to why you want to do this. Why is trading important to you? For me, the freedom was what the importance was, and I've got that freedom now to be able to do that. Congrats to your hard work. I appreciate that, Patty. And it was and is still hard. It's not an easy task. Guys, the easiest task for me would be to stop working at Wealth Builders and just go back and run my other businesses, which are all run on their own, basically real estate and all of that, trade, the other investments that we have in other businesses. Just do that. And that would make my life very simple. I would have very little responsibility to deal with at all. But that's not me. That's not built in my DNA. As a serial entrepreneur, I could never do that, right? Trading is my jam. I love it. And no business comes before the trading portion of what I do, okay? But you've got to make sure that trading doesn't take over your life, because that's what it did for me, to where family didn't matter as much. Well, can you want to take the day off and go do this? No, I'm not taking a day off. I'm trading. I'm not passing up making the money. No. And yeah, it was great making the money, but today my wife says, do you want to go? Yes. Yes. I didn't say where it was. Don't care. It's with you. I'm good. Wherever it is, I'm good to go. Let's go. Okay. That's my happy smiley face, right? My little stress ball, one of the two that I keep on my desk, right? All right. Economic reports. Let's go check out what's going on Forex Factory. Come on. There we go. Okay. So 10 o'clock this morning was Purchasing Managers Index, PMI. 11 o'clock, President Trump speaks, right? Nothing tomorrow. Then everything in the rest of the week is red. If it is pre-market, if anything's coming out pre-market, if you are Jeff, it's important because he's trading in pre-market, or might be trading in pre-market because of futures. Anybody trading futures, those are important reports, right? If you're not trading futures and you're not holding overnight, it doesn't matter. the market's going to do what the market does when it opens up. That's all there is to it. We don't have anything coming up, such as the Fed speaking or Trump speaking again during the week or anything like that. And again, this goes back to where I don't agree a lot lately with Forex Factory, who is the producer of this data. We are in the midst of a potential massive war. President Trump speaks and it's orange. Right? First off, every time that man speaks could be the potential of another war or another thing getting triggered by what he says because he doesn't seem to care what he says out loud. Again, not a bash on him, not a benefit, a positive to him. It just is. Guys, I am a realist. And I look at right or rich. Do I want to be right? Do I want to be rich? I don't need to agree with what the president says or does or anything else. I look at it as, is there a way to make money? I remember back, God, it was early in my trading career. I hadn't started teaching yet, but I don't remember the year. So it was definitely before 99. And there was a plane crash. There was a plane crash. Major airline had a plane crash. It was a little one. I don't remember what the results of it were, but there was a plane crash. And the coach, I was in an event, live event, and the coach had said, yeah, we're going to go, buy puts on the stock. And someone had said, wait, you want to make money off of somebody else's misery? And he said, well, I'm making money, not at the expense of those that suffered. And he said, and if you feel that strongly about it, take the money that you make and give it to those that suffered. And the same person was like, well, if I make it, I'm not giving it away. Well, apparently you're not really worried about the people that were suffering. It was just a reason of gripe. Okay? But you used to have plenty of time in advance to do something like that. Today, it's all over. The stock's already moved. With the whisper that it just happened, it's already taken a massive move or a shutdown or something. Tripp said beige book is Wednesday, yellow on Forex Factory, but I also disagree with many of their grades. Yeah, it's just I just I don't think they're doing as good of a job as they used to, but I haven't found anybody else that I like better than this. They're I think their numbers are just off. Their analysis is off to me. All right. Okay, let's go take a look at the market and see what's going on. So, our topic today, which we're going to talk about a sideways market, if you look at what the S&P 500 was doing in here, actually, let me grab a drawing tool. If you look in here, okay, and then here's Monday, here's Friday, this was Thursday, right? Wednesday, Tuesday. So in here, right in here somewhere, is where we did made the decision on today's topic that we're going to teach on, right? And you look at the market that's going on in here. But since then, with this failure that took place here on Thursday of last week, that lower high yet again, and that's just it. We got a high, which was the all-time high, a lower high, and a lower high. And then we've got a low, a lower low, and a lower low. Right? So right now, what's happened? We take that sideways channel and we kind of shift it downward a little bit, and we now have a bearish trending pattern setting up in there. And that's what a trend is, lower highs and lower lows. When you look at a move like this on Costco, just look at all these white bars in here. This is not a trending move. Yeah, the market's going higher. But for a trend, personally, I want to see the stair step. Up or down, I don't care, but I want to see the stair step. They're not all going to be the same. Some will be bigger, some will be smaller, right? But I want to see the stair step that's taking place in there. Okay? Are you going to have times like this that violate where the previous low was? Yes, and that's okay. Right? This might have been a much cleaner move. It's starting to get a little sloppier up here, but if the pattern is still holding, I'm okay with it. If a new high got put in, I'm going to watch that low again and see what happens. Okay? And it's no different when we look at the markets, at the market as a whole, the S&P. So we've got those slightly lower highs, even less or more slightly, less slightly, I don't know the right word, but very slight lower lows setting up in here, but they are lower. And that means the bears are taking control. Are the bulls fighting back hard? Yes, they are. But we are still seeing failures take place over and over and over again. We've got to get through this recent swing high which is 69.53, we'll call it. We got to get through that level. Piercing it would be great, but we need to close above it. We need to close above it. And if we break the 67.75.50, right, that's the next step down. Now, we've got a massive floor in place, right? Keeping in mind, right, from my perspective as a contractor, and that was me right out of high school, contracting company, did extremely well with it, sold it off, made oogles of money off of it. Although it would be worth tens of millions today, I'm sure. Um, but when you look at the moves of what market is doing right now, when you look at the emotion that people are dealing with right now and contending with right now, and we got this candle in the middle here today, there was a lot of fear today, right? That gap down was scary. That 67.65, that's the contractor in me saying that's a floor. And I built that floor, not the other contractor. I built that floor. That floor is 4 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood and 2 inches of mud poured on top of it. That sucker is strong. Can you break it? Absolutely. You can break anything, right? You could dig your way to China if you really wanted to. Okay. You could break through anything. That 67.65 is strong. But if we don't hold, there's nothing stopping us. Every fib line becomes the next down opportunity, all the way back down to where the fib started back about 4 months ago. Every bit of it. Um, Trip said quarter chart is up and coming, but they also have work to do for news and earnings. Okay, and then getting up to Friday's high seems weird to me, but dance with the gorilla, like Ryan says. Yes. Yep. Yep. Jim said the S&P 500 67.9221 is a 3% pullback. We came $4.64 away from it today. Yep. There you go. I mean, it's guys, the weakness is there. The weakness is there. Until we had this failure last week, I was very strong that, yeah, that one didn't quite make it as high as the previous, but we got high enough to call it a channel. I'd come off of that top there, 10 points away or something. I'm fine with that. But until we got this failure last week, that took my entire vision of this sideways move to this downward channel in there. There you go. Trip said, oh, yeah, the ES bounced at 67.68 versus our 67.65 when Europe opened last night. Okay, there you go. Or what is actually this morning, but excellent. Yeah, I didn't look at any of the futures yet today. All right, so overall, we've got to look at those levels. Watch this 68.13. Watch that 69.03. Realistically, it's the 69.53 level. It's the 67.75 level, and then the 67.65. That's the key. That little blue zone here, that little blue zone in there, that's the biggie. Right? That zone right in there. 67.57 and 67.65. 10 points-ish, a little less than 10 points away. Okay? So a lot of strength in there. Watch our bottoms. You got to watch the pattern. It only comes down to trading the pattern at hand. Just get really good at talking it through with yourself out loud. You will find a world of difference. You know, when I work with a whole team of coaches and doctors for my health. And one of them is literally, she's a health coach, not a doctor, not a nutritionist. She's a health coach. And she started talking about when you're done at the gym, I want you to sit down right in the locker room for 5 minutes and do box breathing for 5 straight minutes. Like, you're out of your mind. People can look at me like I'm nuts. 4 4 4 4, right? No, I'm not doing it. You're crazy. I said, what's the benefit for it? She said, you will feel an amazing difference inside of your body, but it's not something that happens overnight. It is something that takes a little bit of time. So I don't do it at the gym. I do come home and sit down and do that immediately before I make my protein shake. Sit right down on the couch, pet the dog for 5 minutes, and do the breathing exercise. And I see the difference, the score that my ring gives me on my body, on my metrics, on how much better it is today than it was a year ago. And they do comparisons all the time. Your HRV is improved by 16 points in the last 3 months. What do you equate it to? I don't know, 3 days a week of resistance training and 4 days a week of cardio at an hour each day at zone two. Maybe that has something to do with it. Um, so it's finding the rhythm in the market and being able to trade what you see, not what you think. What do you see happening? That's what you trade. Don't trade what you think is happening. Trade what you see. Yep, we got to bring the cortisol down. Exactly. Okay. Let me bring us back in here. All right. So upcoming this evening, we've got Inner Circle. Trade Watch Alerts Q&A is tonight at 8. Mastermind group is tomorrow. E-mini Think Tank is on the 4th. We've got a lot happening. That's Q&A. A lot happening this week. And then, of course, the Patterns in a Flash Q&A. Power option plays. Andrew, I need you to change that to Tuesdays and Fridays. We've made a move. I brought it back to Tuesday and Friday again. We started it last week. And of course, the first day we did it, I got a new internet connection. And the new internet connection, I couldn't get it done because we didn't have internet for hours. It was about 6 hours, 5 or 6 hours getting things done. Power Hour Trading Coaches Playbook are on regular schedule. And then the consistency code. I have not taught this type of a training since 2017. I went back and looked, 2017. So definitely check that out. We've got 4 of them on there. I may choose to get rid of one of them, so don't wait until the end if you don't have to. Um, yeah, don't wait until the end if you don't have to. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Right. So go ahead and check it out. It's a free training. And this is what we're talking about, being consistent. How can you be consistent? All right, weekly training topic. How to trade the sideways price action. Ironically, I thought after seeing what futures did overnight, I thought for sure we were going to open and break the 67.65, this black line today. I thought for sure we were going to see that happen. We did gap down, we did stretch down, so the bears tried to push. It failed, bounced. Tripp said, me too. It failed, it bounced. Beautiful, magnifique, gorgeous. I love it. Everything about it is fantastic, okay? Puts us back into a neutral bias again right now. It's not bearish neutral. We never closed bearish, so we can't be in bearish. We can't be bearish neutral. Got to close bearish first. So we're not there. If we close down below the 55, now we're bearish, and it's a whole different ballgame, okay? The 8 and the 21 are close enough to each other right now. So they could easily flip if the market moves up and puts us back into a bullish bias all over again. But that in mind, and this is where some are going to make the mistake. We're going to make a move up. I'm giving an example. We're going to make a move up. We're not that far away from getting up above the moving averages. And then you pop up above this zero line, even if you get a pullback and a bounce. Okay? And a lot are going to make the mistake and go, that's it. The market's back to bullish. I'm in. I'm going long. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And I'm not saying the market isn't back. What I'm saying is you don't have the true confirmation yet. This trend line will more than likely be broken through with a wick, and then we'll come back down below. And then we'll finally get out from there. That's more than likely what we'll see take place. Not a guarantee, but it's a standard pattern that presents itself. I'm looking at this as, if I can get a break out of here, a retest and a bounce, could I take a short-term trade knowing I've got a resistance up ahead there? And the answer is yes, absolutely. And that's what, to me, what you should be doing. That's where you should be focused, is on that. And I think the problem is people are too anxious traders are too anxious to try to jump in and get in early, because if they wait too long, they've missed it. And I know where some of that fear comes in. So, let's see. We'll use Coinbase. Okay. Coinbase opened up down here. All right. Let's go look at, so they gapped down a little bit today. Let's go look at a 5-minute chart on Coinbase from today. Okay. gap down, big candle up, ran up, ran up, ran up, pulled back, and then someone looked at this and said, "Yeah, I don't know. Um, we're looking at a closing price of 178 and three quarter. We've got support at 176.70. So it's like $2 down from there. Yeah, I, I'm gonna wait another candle or two and see if we can get closer to it. Okay. Now, if you go over to the one, you can see that we did get a little closer there, and we did close up even better. 176, call 177. We closed here at 177.83. We stretched down a little bit lower to 177.61. So within 40, 50 cents away, whatever it was, and we bounced. And then they waited, and the stock got here, around that 180, 180 and a half, somewhere in that area. We'll go back to a daily chart and look at it there. You get to that 180 and a half, and now you're already at a point where you're too far in, right? You've bounced too much. You say, I can't take it, right? I can't get in now because it's moved too much. I'm not saying you'd be wrong for doing that. What I'm getting at is you've got to be able to look at the market and make that conscious decision of when I take the four pack, right? When I take my monitors and I break them up into four different screens, and I've got a 1, a 5, a 30, and a daily chart, right? And if the 5 is my primary, the D, the daily, is my decision maker, right? That's what makes it, that's what DEC, decision, that's what adds it to my list. And the 1 minute is a tweak, right? 30-minute is all confirmation, right? It's to confirm the pattern that I see. That's all 30-minute is there for. Okay. Using the daily to make a decision of you're on my list for tomorrow. Using the 5-minute to say that's the setup I'm looking for, and looking for the 1 minute to tweak the entry to get that finite entry and exit from there. It's using that in conjunction with each other. And there are still many that insist on trading off of one chart, feel that they do better with it. And you may think it for now, but I would highly encourage you to at least use a daily as your decision maker of you're on my list for tomorrow or today, whatever it is. Use the daily chart for that. Use the 5-minute or the 3-minute or whatever time frame you care about. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Use your time frame to pick it. Oh, this is what I'm looking for, and then use a lower time frame for tweaking in. So if you use the 15-minute chart as an entry, maybe use a 3 or a 5 as a tweak. Right? You're looking at that for the finesse. I like the 1 for that. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just what I like. I have a buddy of mine that trades off of all tick charts, and he's got all different tick time frames that he trades off of. 660 tick, and these whacked out time frames that for me it would never work. I could never, ever, ever in good conscience trade off of that. But for him, it works phenomenal. He's a good trader, and it works. It works. So when we look at this market here, guys, if we stay in the frame that we're in right now, with this lower highs and lower lows, if we stay in that frame, then these downtrend lines are going to be critical. And what I'm looking to do there is, in an ideal world, you're only taking a bearish trade off of here. That would be the ideal world, to take bearish. Right? Could you take a bullish trade off of here? You could, but there's a lot more risk. Which is why I liked the sideways pattern so much better. So much better. Inside of here. And if we break out now and get back up here, I will get rid of the trend lines, go back to that sideways channel, and look for that pattern, because I have a lot more opportunities in there. Excuse me, to trade. That doesn't mean there are not intraday setups that you could take. You get a breakout above this fib line, a retest and a bounce. Could you take it? Yes, but you got to respect resistance. What does it mean to respect resistance? So here, let's talk it out. I'm going to ask for feedback here for your answers. We break out. We get up 69.04, 5, whatever it is. We pull back. 69.03 and a half. And we bounce. That decision I'll make for everybody. We all take the trade right there. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Let me ask it differently. How many of you would consider taking a bullish entry if the stock did this? If the market did this, how many of you would take a bullish entry? One for yes, two for no. It's interesting with the answers coming from inner circle versus inner circle mastermind versus everybody else. Okay, so we got a lot of mixed answers. We got a yes or no, right? Tripp's answer was taking a small position. Yes. Okay, nothing wrong with taking a small position. So if you did take the position, the bullish position, where is resistance? Jim said one, but I have to look at what my 1, 5, and 30 daily charts look like. Fair answer, Jim. Fair answer. Yes, I would consider it, but I've got to look at the other charts. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm assuming that that setup is everything else is aligning, is what I really meant by that. So where's our exit? Good, Andres. Yep. 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 We're looking at that trend line in there is the first place. And then let me ask it a different way. We start moving up. What do you do around that trend line? You could exit the trade. What else could you do? What could be a major advantage to you if you're holding a long position, your bullish position, you bought a call, and we get it near that trend line? If you don't want to get out of this position, what could you do? And I'll tell you right now, don't write in there, remove my stop, my target. Take out my targets. Don't do that. What would you do? Oh, I love the answers we're getting. Stuff that's not even in my head yet. I'm not even there. Resistance is the trend line. Your trend line. Tighten your stops. There we go. What have you put and I know I saw it in here. Who put it in there? Kevin, I think you were the first one. I think. Nope, Andres, but you guys were right, from each other. What about a trailing stop? What if I had a hard target in there and it started moving up and moved up fast? I could tighten up that stop. I could completely remove the stop, but change it over and the GTC as well, and then change it over to a trailing stop. And now that trailing stop becomes my order. That's my exit. And as it gets up near resistance, near the trend line, my trailing stop is tightened up. We break out from here. Get a little bit of a pullback and a bounce. I could open my trailing stop back up again, give myself that normal 100 to 120% of the Wilder's average true range. Right? That right there, that lends itself to a powerful, powerful, powerful trade. Right? Could you, and some said, no, I'm not trading this. And I understand the why. We're trading in a very small range, trying to go positive on it. Whereas, could we go find something else that's maybe moving bearish? Now, the market itself is moving up, right? So we're looking at that. That is a positive thing for it. Let me see. There's a couple more that I can't see yet. Trailing stop. Take half off. I love the half off part. Take a little off the table. Put a stop in below 69.03. Trade a put. There you go, Tom. If it breaks the trend line, use a support. Use it as a support to add to call. Okay? There you go. Half trailing stop and half tightening on the stop. Okay. Yeah. So good answers. But you see, this is all of and some of you might have looked at that and said, no, you're not trading it. Others said, yes, you are trading it. Right. And then how would you set your exits up? Some would have looked at it as, I'm going to be out by the time it gets to resistance. Some we're still looking at all the way up here at this 7,000 again, saying my target's up here, even though we've got two major areas of contention to deal with right now in them. Those two. We got to get through those two. That's a long way off to be using that as a target, right? Target one, could I have taken off one of my contracts there, scale out of the position? Target two, could I scale out of another contract or another portion of my trade? Put my trailing stop in, and this would be my target three if you thought it was going to go that far, okay? Or you had that kind of move. And guys, here's the thing. The days that you have that kind of move where you open up the day at 68.25, you get to a low of 6,800, we'll call it, and then you wind up at 7,000 by the end of the day. That could you have a 200-point move? Yes, yes, you could have a 200-point move. Okay, but here's the thing: you didn't guess that when it opened up today. Those days are going to happen. You got to be in it to win it. One of my favorite commercials ever was there was this woman walking in this beautiful garden. There's landscapes and waterscape, a fountain and a pond, and she has a pizza. She's talking about a pizza, and as she's talking the entire time, she's sitting down on a white stone, getting to sit on a white stone bench, very slowly though, very slowly, and she says, "Pizza. It's round. It comes in a square box, and they cut it in triangles." And as she said that is when her butt hits the seat. And then the announcer's voice comes on and said, "What would you think about if you won Lotto?" In other words, she had nothing to worry about in her life. She won all this money. She's worried about pizzas round in a square box and they cut it in triangles, right? Again, what your focus is on is what's important to you. She didn't have anything to stress about. Right? And that's why I push so hard when it comes to trading portion of your life. Think of this. If you took your top 10 problems in your life and you threw an unlimited amount of money at those problems, you're going to solve 9 of them just like that. The other one that you can't solve with money is going to need more time. And if you've got that unlimited supply of money, you will probably have more time available to you. Right? That is why I push so hard to get people to get this, to understand it. Listen, I know it is tiring. I know it is. 3 nights a week, actually, well, 4 nights every week, I have the ability to be in live trainings with one of the masterminds that I belong to, whether it's trading, marketing, health. I've got the ability to be in live trainings and most of them are 8 o'clock at night. There is one that starts at 5 o'clock, which I like that one a lot. It's a marketing one, but I like it because it starts at 5. It's earlier. But my day is over. I start my morning between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. I, do my stretches and exercises, my warm up for almost an hour. Then I go to the gym for between an hour and 2 hours at the gym, right? So trust me, by the time 8 o'clock at night comes, it's kind of like, oh, man, do I want to do this or not? And there are some nights it's like, no, I don't have it in me. I'm done. I can't, right? And then I hear about it the next time when, someone says to me, "Why weren't you at the event? We didn't see you Tuesday. Why not?" Now, there are nights I teach, and all of the coaches understand that I teach and I can't be there. But it's no different than getting to the consistency code on 8 o'clock because you can't go to 12, you work, right? So getting there at 8 o'clock at night and you're tired, you haven't eaten yet, you got home late today, 2 hours of overtime. I understand it. But all of that pain and suffering that you're doing today is to alleviate the pain and suffering you may deal with potentially later in life, right? How many of you know people that are retired and they are on the, don't run out of money before you run out of month cycle? Yeah, no, I can't do that and gotta wait, right? Gotta wait. Why? Well, Social Security check's not coming in for another 2 weeks. That's all I got. Okay. And I'm not poo-pooing those people, not at all. Anybody, I don't care what your age is, anybody can learn how to do this. Anybody can figure this out. You don't need to be a brainiac. Thank God you don't need to be smart or I never would have got this. Never. Yeah, I had to move one into my house. There you Uh-huh. Yep, I get that, Trip. We had it for a little bit here. Um, Steele said, I think I'd solve 11. Uh-huh. I agree. I agree. Okay. So you've got to trade this as if it's any other market, and you've got to trade it conditionally. There's nothing special about this except this is the pattern we're trading right now. If you went back a few months, we had a much different pattern as we were making this big move up to continuous, newer again and again, all-time high, all-time high, all-time high, all-time high, right? Over and over and over again. Totally different market than today. Although it wasn't a clean market, we still had our ugly days in there. It was not a clean market. Okay. But the market itself was there, it was tradable. And you've got to look at this and say, what makes this market today, only today, tradable? Again, I'm talking for a day trade. Now, if you're swing trading, it's a whole different point. And I don't see a lot of strength in swing trading right here with all these moves up and down. I don't. Actually, I don't know who it was. One of our stocks, we got taken out. I don't remember what it was. One of our stocks was a swing trade, but we had gotten stopped out. I'd have to go back and look. I don't know which one it was. The first sheet that I showed you, we don't have swing trades on there. Those are only day trades. All right. So the opportunity is there. You just got to look at the market, analyze it, and determine what's the best way for you to trade it right now. I mean, right now. How do you trade this now? Okay. All right. Let's go back into presentation. Your stocks review. So I did see, I don't remember who I saw it put it in. So I apologize for that, but I did see SLV in there, but there was way, 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 way up. Um, but I did see SLV, so I'll take a look at that one. I just don't remember who it was, so I apologize for that. You're welcome to type it back in. Dennis, there we go. I see it. So let's go look at the market. What stocks do I want to take a look at? Drop those in. I'm going to switch our symbol grid to all symbols. Uh, 227, 32. Okay. So SLV, we're still in a bullish bias right now. A little bit of a bounce from here takes us to 85. And we were just there on Friday, so easily doable. This craziness of 110, I don't think we see that again for a while. Um, Give me the bounce off of that moving average, which is about 79. You're looking at 85, but you're going to have a steep stop down in here, down below that 77.30, 75 or something like that you're going to be at. So that pushes us a little bit. So I hope that helps, Dennis. Um, Brenda's asking for CVX. Chevron. Oh, what happened there? All right. So very old fib and very ugly, even that. We're going to redraw the fib on Chevron. So the easiest way to do this, go over to a different template that has no moving averages on it, nothing on the top of the chart. That's the easiest way to do it. I like this pullback down to here as a starting point. So let's go grab the fib, come off of that swing low. I'm going to go off to that swing high. I'm going to pull that out to the right. What's the first thing we do? We look at what numbers are we looking at? I'm not going to wait for you to answer it. I'm just going to give you a couple seconds. We look at the distance of the 50 and 618 and make sure it's a minimum of X. What's X? $3, $5, you pick what it is. $3 being bare minimum. So 67 to 70, $3 and change. Okay, we've got our $3 in there. So yes. Do I need a fib it? 86 to 95. That's $9. I've got $7 as my fib. Yes, I need a negative 136 and a 118 in there. I've got to split those levels in half. If you're uncertain what fibbits are, go over here and where do they put it? They took it off? No. All right, I got to get the fibs put back up there. I don't know why they took that off. But keep your eye on Trading Like a Boss. There's a free training up there on Fibonacci, three-part series. So right now on Chevron, Brenda, now we're going to go back to moving averages. Template number two. Oh, I love this. I'd like to see this take another day or so to get back to this 186 and a half. My eight moving average will get up to about 186, 185 and three quarter, somewhere in there. Pull back, bounce, 190.82 is resistance. You don't have a big move in there, but you do have some opportunity to the upside there. So I do like that. Next was GLD. All right, so let's revisit this again. I think we need a new fib in here. These are just too big of a numbers at this point. We're up too high. Okay, go to template number one. I'm going to grab the fib. We're going to come off of this swing low. Down in here, we're going to come to this swing high. I'm going to pull it out. 39 and 52 is at least $3. 48, I'm sorry, 483. So 83 to 09 to 10, rather. So 83, 93, 03, 27. We've got a fibit of 28.69, so I don't need to split that in half, but I probably need to split up in here. 10 to 40 is 30, almost 31. We need to split that. So I need a negative 136. And there's all the fib work that has to be done once you've drawn a new company in there, new line in there on your candidate. All right, so now on GLD, what do we need to see? Pull back to the 482.71 in the bounce. 500 is resistance. Somewhere down below that 483 is going to be my stop. I like this one a lot. All right, now we've got SPY. Looks just like the SPX candidate. Get above the 689, bounce and retest and bounce, and 694 half is resistance. All right, Brenda. So I hope that helps. I'm not sure, Roman, what stocks are directly connected to WTI in there, but I think the major energy companies, the Chevrons and the Exxons and the likes, are going to be affected by that. But I don't know the exact companies for it. Good. All right. Thanks, Roman. Last one, Henry, is CEQ. Nope. Let's try that again. CE. I don't have a CEQ in here, Henry. Check that. Is that a different symbol? Not sure who that is. I put in CE, I get one of those, and when I type in Q, it wants to give me a four-letter symbol. So I'm not sure. All right. So with that, keep something in mind. Okay. It's going to take work, time, effort, energy from you. You're going to do some things that are uncomfortable, whether you've got to put in more hours or you've got to take trades that you're really not, sure about in a non-funded format. Invest some money into training, whatever it is. It's going to be uncomfortable. It always is. Every bit of growth comes with discomfort, right? And that's where you're at right now. That's where I'm at right now, and I am at every day, right? But you've got to commit to yourself to do whatever it takes to get there. So Andrew dropped in links earlier to the consistency code. Go ahead and check that out. Get going on that. Get rocking on that, guys. There, do not miss out on that training. There, he just dropped it in again. Do not miss out on that training. Um, yeah, still said I've been pretty uncomfortable. All right, there you go. Right? If you ever took my live trainings and I would ask you to put your watch on your other hand for 2 days, it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable because you're used to doing this, and now you got to do this, and it's heavier, and it doesn't feel right, and you bang it when you're writing, and whatever it is, right? So it's all about that planned discomfort to make you more comfortable in the market. How do you learn to ride a horse? You get on the horse. So you're going to get thrown? Yes. You got to get back up and get on the horse. Same thing with the market. So with that, everybody, make it a profitable day. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, you're just one trade away. I will see you all at our next update. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.